call on Mr. Boone to begin with the final votes.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to vote to grant. Recommend use demonstrated rehabilitation releases compatible with public safety.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. Let me say this, and I want to say this to Mr. Widener. When I read your parole board case summary report, I think you, in a very realistic way, stated to them and made clear to us and to me that you realize you've done a lot of things in the past that perhaps you should not have done. I think you've been honest about it. I think you recognize that you're asking for another chance. And you're asking for another chance because you realize, but you also realize that if you do not take advantage of this chance, that it may be the last chance that you get. So really the ball is going to be in your court to go and do things the right way and not get yourself back in trouble. And I believe you have reached the point where you recognize what your downfalls have been, and you're prepared to try to better yourself and make it so you do not come back into the system, because that is the key. In other words, it's important that you realize that, and I believe based on what you have indicated in this report and what I've seen, that you've reached the point where it's either now or never, meaning if you come back, then you may well spend the rest of your life in prison. And because of that, I believe you have now reached a realistic point where you should be released from prison, and I'm going to vote to grant you parole and give you that opportunity. The governor has indicated very clearly that he likes to give people a second chance. In your case, you're getting a little bit more than a second chance, but as I look at your record, you do not have a history of violence. You do have a history of theft and those kinds of things. And all I can say to you is, remember, if you steal and do some of the stuff you've done in the past, that's the kind of thing that can bring you back into prison, and you may never get out again or may never have another chance. But I'm prepared to give you an opportunity to get out and do what you would like to do, meaning enjoy life for whatever years you got left, because you have seen the inside of prison now for somewhere on the order of 27 years. That's a long time. And your offenses have not been violent offenses. So for that reason, I'm going to vote.
This is Commissioner Campbell, and we are back on the record with regard to the 8 a.m. calendar. After completing the House calls, I have 3 changes. With regard to Dominic Goodman, whose date of birth is 12/27/1988. I did continue to find probable cause for aggravated assault, class 2 felony, and assault intent to assault, plus 1 misdemeanor, and refusing to give true name to all law enforcement, class 2 misdemeanor, of which offenses occurred yesterday, May 13th, 25. I am appointing her an attorney. I'm setting 2 hearings, first on May 20th at 8:30 and the next one on May 22nd at 8:30. Both in the downtown Memphis County Superior Court. After speaking with Ms. Goodman, I do believe that the state's recommended secured appearance bond in the amount of $50,000 is appropriate, and I am setting that as Ms. Goodman's bond in this matter. My next change is Michael Wondering. Mr. Wondering is in custody on a different matter, in addition to the one that is before the court this morning. Mr. Wondering's date of birth is 7/6/1979. For purposes of appointing Mr. Wondering an attorney, I am finding that he is indigent and one should be appointed for him at his next hearing. I am setting a secured appearance bond in Mr. Wondering's case in the amount of $50 as a placeholder.
And
Mr. Wondering's next hearing will be on May 19th at 8:30 in the University Lakes Justice Court. Finally, the last change is
parole today based
Matthew Brown.
Demonstrated rehab.
Mr. Brown was arrested yesterday on charges that burglary in the 3rd degree and aggravated assault, a class 6 felony. I did find probable cause for those I am appointing Mr. Brown an
You've
attorney,
earned
and
the
I am setting
opportunity
two
to
hearings,
go
the
out
first on May 20th
have
at
a
8:30 and the
second
next one on May
chance.
22nd
So my
at 8:30,
vote
both
would
in
be
the
to grant.
downtown Maricopa County Superior
And
Court. I am setting a secured appearance bond on Mr.
I would
Brown's
just
matter
offer
in the
you
amount of
congratulations. Majority of the
$750.
board
That concludes
have
the
voted
updates from the
to
8 a.m.
grant you
calendar, and with that, we really will
parole,
stand adjourned until 11
with 3
a.m.
members
Thank you.
voting in favor of your release.
And we are off the record.
Please be mindful that you must continue to remain on good behavior throughout the reentry process. Any infractions could put your release in jeopardy. And you know, everyone has to understand, especially in your situation, that there's not going to be a whole lot of more opportunities for you to make errors in judgment, and any criminal offenses, any failures, technical violations, anything you refuse to respond to your parole, probation, different requirements you may have. If there's any violations, your release could be in jeopardy, and you could return to finish the remainder of your sentence. So I will say congratulations, you've been granted parole by this board, every re-entry requirements, and you know, please take the best advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any other words or statements you'd like to make before we conclude?
I appreciate y'all having enough faith in me. Like I say, y'all will see me again. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do and stay out and enjoy the rest of my life.
Okay, we wish you the best, and we hope we can count on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have
I can't hear. I can't hear no more. I can't hear.
we're done with your session. We're going on to some different business. We're done with you. Thank you. Okay, so the board and I would like to honor and commend Mrs. Hall by adopting the following resolution of appreciation and commendation. And it reads today from the Virginia Parole Board, this resolution of appreciation and commendation. Whereas Laura H. Hall has dedicated nearly 30 years of service to the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia through her work with the Virginia Department of Education, the Virginia Department of Corrections, and the Virginia Parole Board. Whereas Ms. Hall has consistently demonstrated professionalism, integrity, kindness, and compassion to the individuals she has assisted throughout her career. Whereas Mrs. Hall has earned the respect of her coworkers and the citizens she served because of her steadfast commitment to the fair treatment of all individuals. Whereas Mrs. Hall has seamlessly coordinated board appointments for approximately 10,000 citizens during her 22 years with the Virginia Parole Board. Whereas Ms. Hall has consistently excelled in her daily responsibilities and assisted others in learning the skills necessary to serve. And whereas Ms. Hall has served under 5 separate Virginia Parole Board chairmen and provided them with valuable insight of board operations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Virginia Parole Board extend their sincere appreciation to Laura H. Hall and commend her for outstanding dedication to the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Be it further resolved that this resolution is saved in the minutes of the Virginia Parole Board, and the copy of this resolution is given to Laura H. Hall. This is adopted the 14th day of May, 2025, and signed by Patricia L. West, Judge, Chairman of the Virginia Parole. So we thank Mrs. Hall for that. We don't have a date for our next meeting. And so do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.